Hello! Today we're going to talk about multiplying decimals. So we started with adding and subtracting. And with adding and subtracting, you have to line up the decimals. Today we're going to switch it, okay? So today those rules are going to be different. So we're going to talk about multiplying decimals. Okay? So these are going to be completely different rules than what we just did. So like I said, with adding and subtracting, you line up the decimals, but with multiplying, you're going to line up the numbers. So we're going to take these notes, and you need to write them down as well and keep them in your binder in your math tab. So you're going to line up the numbers. Now, I know it's really hard to remember this because we just did something different with adding and subtracting, but we're going to use our notes while we practice this for a few days. All right, so line up the numbers, okay? You're going to forget about the decimal point until the end. All right, so forget about them until the end, the decimals until the end. Forget about it. Then you're going to multiply like normal. Okay. Now, after you have lined up the numbers and multiplied like normal, and you have your answer, this is with answer, you're going to count up the decimal places. In the original problem. I'm going to say original two numbers. So you're finding how many numbers after the decimal. You're looking at place value for the decimals. How many places are there after the decimal? Then you're going to move. I got to stay with my pattern, right? Then you're going to move the decimal in your answer. Shoot, my hand's cramping up. Okay, it's not even that much writing, but I think it's where I'm holding my pen so tight. So copy that down. Okay, pause it if you need to. So multiplying decimals, line up the numbers. Forget about the decimal point until the end. Multiply like normal when you get your answer. Then you're going to count up the decimal places in the original problem, and then you're going to move your decimal. So what do I mean? So here's what I mean. Let's do a problem. So let's do an example. Okay. 24 and 87 hundredths times 3. All right. So we're going to multiply just like normal. We're going to forget that decimal's there. I've lined up my numbers, okay? So 3 times 7 is 21. I put my 1 here. I carry my 2. 3 times 8 is 24. Add my 2, that's going to be 26. Carry my 2 over here. 3 times 4 is 12. Plus my 2 is 14. I put my 4, carry my 1. 3 times 2 is 6. Plus 1 is 7. So we have 74, 61. That's what we have. All right, well, now we're going to count up the decimal problems, or the decimal spots that we have, okay? So I'm going to look at my original numbers. I don't have a decimal here, okay, so I don't have anything to count. But I do have 2 right here. So I have 2 decimal places. Okay? So now, so there's some invisible math here, okay? And the invisible math is that after every whole number, there's a decimal. When we say 3, there's, there could be a decimal back there. So right here, there's a decimal, even though it's not there. But after every whole number, there's a decimal to the right. That is invisible math. So now I'm going to pick that decimal up and I'm going to move it 2 spots to the left, okay? Ready? Boop, boop. Okay, I have moved that decimal. I picked it up and moved it. So now my new number is going to be 74 and 61 hundredths. Okay, so that is what that's what we're talking about when we are multiplying decimals. All right. Okay, let's do a couple more. So that's your example. All right, let's do 1 and 87 hundredths times 2. Okay. So I'm going to start multiplying like normal. My numbers are lined up. I'll worry about that decimal place later. 2 times 7 is 14. I put my 4 there. I carry my 1. 2 times 8 is 16. Plus my 1 is 17. Put my 7 there. I carry my 1. 2 times 1 is 2. Plus 1 is 3. Okay, so I have my numbers. My problem is worked out. Now I'm going to count my decimal spaces. Okay, I have 2 places after my decimal. Whoop. Okay, so I have 2 decimal places. Remember invisible math. After every whole number, there is a decimal to the right. To the right, to the right. All right, so now we're going to move it to the left, to the left. I'm going to pick that decimal up and I'm going to move it 2 places, okay? Whoop, whoop. Now I'm telling you, it only works if you make that noise when you pick up that decimal. Move it, okay? If we were in our classroom right now together, you all would be going boop, boop. It just makes it better. All right, makes it more fun. All right, so our number is 3 and 74 hundredths, okay? All right, I'm going to go to a new page. And we're on number 2. Okay, continue to do these with me. Now, let's try 76 and 4/10 times 5/10. Oh, okay. All right. 5 times 4 is 20. I put my 0 here. I carry my 2. 5 times 6 is 30. Plus my 2 is 32. So I put my 2 here. Carry my 3. 5 times 7 is 35. Plus my 3 would be 38. All right, now let's look and think, okay, how many numbers come after a decimal? Well, I have 1 and 2. So we have 2 decimal places. So guys, when you multiply the decimals, you have to make sure you underline those decimal places, okay? We're not just doing this for my notes. These are things that you need to do every time you multiply decimals. Just like when you add or subtract, let me find these notes. Just like when you add or subtract, you still want to box in those decimals and bring it down, okay? So we're not just doing that on our notes. These are things or tools that you have in your math toolbox, right? To help you, okay? So make sure you're using those. All right, so I have 2 decimal places. Because of invisible math, there is a decimal after every whole number. So I'm going to pick that decimal up. How many spaces? 2. All right, ready? Boop, boop. All right, so my new number is 38 and 2/10 because that 0 right here, it can be left off. You can add it. The question's still going to be correct. It's just in how you say it. You would say 38 and 2/10 or 38 and 20 hundredths. So it's just how you say it. All right, guys, I'm going to make it this harder. Okay. And we are going to now throw in 3 digits by 2 digits. What? Miss Connor, why? All right, so 25 and 4/10 times 38 hundredths. So I have lined up the numbers, not the decimals. Multiplication, you line up the numbers, not the decimals. All right, are y'all ready? Let's do this, okay? Whew. Okay. So we did this in our Zoom meeting last week. For the kids that were in my groups for Zoom, we worked on multiplication, okay? So we're going to cover up that 3 for right now. And we're going to say 8 times 4 is 32. I'm going to put my 2 here, and I'm going to carry my 3. All right? I'm going to say 8 times 5 is 40 plus my 3 is 43. I put my 3 there, and I put my 4. Then I'm going to say 8 times 2 is 16, plus my 4 is going to be 20. All right, I'm going to go through and I'm going to mark out those numbers on top because I no longer need them. But there's something else I need to do before I start multiplying 3 to 4, 3 to 5, 3 to 2. Do you guys remember? If you do, say it to yourself. We're going to add a 0 down here. And so that's our placeholder, okay? Because what I've done here is I've multiplied my 1 spot to all the numbers, okay? And now I'm going to multiply my 10 spot. Well, I guess the second number, because it's actually my hundreds, I guess I should say. So we've just multiplied our hundreds right here. Now we're going to multiply the tenths, okay? So we had to have something to hold that place of the hundreds, okay? Because we've already done that here. So the second row that you start, you're going to put a 0 every time. So 3 times 4 is 12. I put my 2, I carry my 1. 3 times 5 is 15, plus my 1 is 16. I carry my 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. Okay? So now, what do you do next? Right, you're going to add. So 2 plus 0 is 2. 3 plus 2 is 5. 0 plus 6 is 6. 2 plus 7 is 9. All right. So now that I have my answer, now I need to worry about those decimals again, right? So I'm going to go back up to my original problem, and I'm going to count the decimal places. So I've got 1, 2, 3. So I have 3 spots, 3 decimal place values. So in other words, I'm going to hop my decimal 3 times. Okay, remember that invisible math, that after every whole number, there is a decimal. So put that decimal there. Okay, you ready? Heavy lifting. All right, ready? Whoop, whoop, whoop. So I hopped it 3 times, okay? So you're going to go 1, 2, 3. Our new number is 9 and 652 thousandths, okay? 9 and 652 thousandths. Remember that if you forget how to say those, put the 1 and the 3 zeros underneath, and that will help you say our number. So we know we see 1,000 on the bottom completely filled out. So that means that the last name is thousandths. Okay. Let's do like 2 more, and then you guys are going to practice. But you're only going to practice, I think today I'm just going to try to find and give you problems with the 1 digit, like 3 digits by 1. So this problem. Okay, and then we'll continue to work on these because I know that you guys were supposed to have that in 4th grade, but I don't know how much you guys got. All right. Thanks, COVID. All right, number 4. All right, let's try 5 and 4 tenths times 6 and 6 tenths. Okay, so 2 by 2. And I'm going to do 6 first. So 6 times 4 is 24. I put my 4 here. I carry my 2. 6 times 5 is 30. Plus 2 would be 32. So I'll put my 2 and my 3. I'm going to cross through that. And I'm going to add a 0. All right, so now I'm going to multiply with the 3. Okay, 3 times 4 is 12. I put my 2, I carry my 1. 3 times 5 is going to be 15. And then I'll carry my, or not carry, but I add my 1, and that's going to be 16. So now I just need to add that up. 4 plus 0 is 4. 2 plus 2 is 4. 6 plus 3 is 9. And then I carry my 1 down. Now I need to figure out how many decimal places I have. Go back to the original problem. You're going to see that one and that one. So I have 2 decimal, that does not look like decimal, but that's what I tried to write, places. Remember that invisible math, that after every whole number, there's a decimal to the right. All right, so we're going to take that decimal and we're going to pick it up and move it 2 times. So ready? Doop, whoop. Okay, so my new number is 19 and 44 hundredths. 19 and 44 hundredths. Last one. I want you to try to do this one by yourself. We're going to do 19 and 8 tenths times, let's do 42 hundredths. Okay, so pause me, work this out on your own, and if you don't get it, it's okay. So just pause this and work it out on your own. I will take a drink while you're pausing me. Okay. I say okay so many times, and I hear it now that I'm making all these videos. I am so sorry that you have to hear me say all right and okay. I had a student teacher once tally my okays, and it was not okay. All right. Whew. Okay. See, look, there it is. I need to tally myself. It's not good. So let's start, and we're going to multiply the 2 first. So 2 times 8 is 16. So I'll put my 6. I carry my 1. 2 times 9 is 18. Plus my 1 is 19. I put my 9. I carry my 1. 2 times 1 is 2. Plus my 1 is 3. I am going to mark those out. Please do that first so you don't get confused. Then I'm going to add my 0. That is probably the biggest mistake that children make when they multiply with 2 digits on the bottom. They forget to put a place value. So as you're marking out these numbers up here, remember to add your placeholder, okay? I said place value, placeholder. Please remember to add your placeholder. Okay, so now I'm going to multiply with my 4. 4 times 8 is 32. Put my 2, carry my 3. 4 times 9 is 36. Plus my 3 would be 39. Let's put my 9, carry my 3. 4 times 1 is 4. Plus 3 is 7. All right, so now I add these up. I hope you guys are following along and doing great. 6 plus 0 is 6. 9 plus 2 is 11. I was not right. Whew. All right, and put my 1 there. 9 times 3 is 12. Plus 1 is 13. Carry your 1. And then that is 8. All right, so now I have to go back and look in my original problem to count the decimal places. 1, 2, 3. So there are 3 decimal places. Okay, and remember that invisible math that after every whole number, there is a decimal point at the right. So let's pick that decimal up, and how many times are we moving it? 3 times. So we're going to go whoop, whoop, whoop. So we've moved it 3 times. So our new number is 8 and 316 thousandths. All right, so we will continue this for several more days because I know that multiplication is something that is hard for some of you, and you didn't get much of it last year. So we will continue this into, let's see, we're going to do it today, Monday and Tuesday, and then if, what the way that I worked it out, we'll continue it for 3 days. Okay? All right, if you have any questions, let me know.